pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Tonight is the last meeting.
Yes.
The goal tonight is to score and to send our results off to the steering committee. So we can do this one or two ways. We can individually score it if you haven't already. We can discuss why we're scoring or not. We can score as well as make a recommendation for the dollar amount for the steering committee to consider or not. The important thing here is to score. So what would you all like to do?
Yes.
Okay, well, let's get a roll call here real quick, Vicki.
Okay, roll call. Commissioner Biggs.
Here.
Councilmember Brickner. Councilmember Wagner.
Here.
And citizen appointees Ruth Vance.
Here.
And Rebecca Tomerlin.
Here.
4 present.
Okay. Now, your comments on how'd you like to proceed?
You want to approve, you want a motion to approve the minutes?
Oh, we can do that too. Motion to approve the May 2nd minutes.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Now,
I think,
to remind the board, we have a long list here. We can make this a relatively quick process, or we can.
I've gone through my notes and all that stuff. I've scored mine already.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody else went through them. If you didn't, then we should probably at least give you some time to go through them again. But I think taking a vote on if we send it to steering and the amount, right? So, or all these go to steering, right? Or
All these go to the steering.
all these go to the steering.
All.
I
I remind you that we can recommend the amount, but that doesn't mean the steering committee will agree.
Mm-hmm.
They could decide on more or decide on less.
Well, if everybody got Vicky's email from May 19th where you described kind of a process that some of the other subcommittees did, I kind of like that. Like if you just go through the agenda and name off, just start with A and ask if there's any discussion.
That was the plan.
And is there a motion? Like in that time, maybe it would be proper to move, if somebody wanted to move to limit the amount of money or specify the amount of money or not, and we could vote it up or down and
All right.
hand in our score sheets. If somebody needs a minute to put their numbers down, we can do that.
All right.
My only concern is if I could have, do you have some more copies of the rubric?
Yes.
I only printed up 2 and, well, my paper jammed on my printer. so-
Yes, I do. If anyone needs extra,
New score
just let me
sheets.
double check. the
Well,
last one.
Rebecca needs some, so
Okay.
please.
And one other thing, it's obvious that Councilmember Brickner's not here, but he gave me his score sheets, and they are securely packed away in this folder.
All right, we're going to get this.
All right.
Let's get this
Gotcha.
process going.
All right.
The first on the list is Coffee Creek Watershed Preserve and Boardwalk. Request is for $130,000. Any comments? I will add some. This boardwalk was very much in use during the pandemic. especially when people were distancing. It's a good-sized property, and it's very popular in the Westchester, Jackson Township, Pine Township area
Yes. Oh, yeah.
of our county. And I recommend it, I personally recommend the full amount of $130,000. Any comment?
I do not disagree.
Okay, let's score, and I'll collect your sheets and pass them on down to Vicki.
And just to let you know, I may have mentioned this in the email, what we do, I add them up and then Kurt separately adds them up. And then we see if we're in sync. So we know that we've got it together. And we'll only give, the total score at the end.
Hand the red one over. Because there was the.
There's two of them?
Yeah. I might have had.
Which one did she hand over?
I think I set the other one back.
Revenue.
Yeah, let me take that one back. Oh, sorry. There's 4 for me. Sorry about that.
Got the wrong one?
Yeah, I handed it down a
I
little
think
bit.
this belongs to you guys. I don't see where I'm at.
Here you go. Okay, next one up on the list is the Coffee Creek Watershed Preserve revenue lost. The amount is $5,000.
I think this one was pretty straightforward, and
We recommend the
I
full amount?
recommend full amount.
Okay. Did you catch that, Vicki?
On that one.
Yes.
Liberty.
Rebecca, do me a favor.
Yes.
Put your total here,
Oh, I gotta do math.
Yeah.
Okay.
otherwise that they're going to.
Sorry.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I thought you said you wanted to
We'll add
individually
them
count it,
up.
that's why I stopped. I'm like, all right, fine.
Some people put scores in.
I know, I'm not a fast yet.
Okay, right here, team. Right here's where we want the score.
Okay.
Thank you. There you go. Liberty Township Volunteer Fire Department. I think one of the problems that we had run into here was that because of the timeline set on having the money encumbered, there's time limits on that. If we don't meet those time limits, we lose that. My understanding is you're wanting to build a new station on a new location, on a greenfield site, which you don't even have the greenfield site at this point. You have no architect under contract. I mean, it's just a very, very difficult position to be in. We get it. I'll state clearly, you need a new station. I've been in the station several times. I think it's the oldest fire station in the county. You're in need of some help, and I hope to be able to do that moving forward, any way that I can out of the commissioner's office. But I can't set you up to fail. I think that if I vote, I send you a score that's going to, set you up to receive funds, you're not going to get those encumbered in time. There's just, the scheduling on that is just, especially in this, atmosphere, I mean, the world that we're living in today, getting things built in time and getting things under contract in time is extremely difficult because of the economy and the difficulty of getting materials, getting contractors that aren't already doing more than they probably really want to. So I'm not going to score you high, but I want you to know, moving forward, my office is there to help you in any way you can moving forward to try to get that accomplished, okay?
We appreciate that. We appreciate everything that.
Okay.
I added my note this time.
VNA Hospice. Recommend, the requested amount was, make sure I get this right, $500,000. I'm going to recommend the full amount. If there's any board members have a difference of opinion, I've met with them privately as to what they encumbered in the way of losses or obligation during the pandemic. They were on the front lines of it. They were delivering food to homes to people who were shut in. They were running a hospice center at the same time, dealing with patients, employees. Actually, there's probably only one or two in this entire process of applications that I feel that would be as deserving as VNA Hospice. So, for what it's worth, I'm going to recommend the full amount, unless there's some objection by any of the fellow board members.
Nope.
It's just
Yes.
Next up is Community Theater Guild, $62,125. I love how they come up with $125. I wasn't here for their presentation. Is there any board members that'd like to? No, I was here for that presentation.
I like to recommend them for the full amount.
The full amount? Okay. Well, you know, I actually tip my hat to them. They're self-sustaining. You know, they don't rely on any government assistance. They've survived with that plan and program for a lot of years, and they're only asking for $62,000 and some change. So I'll support that.
So I appreciated that they only even asked for half of
Yeah.
what they could have.
Dress for school. The request is for $10,000. Any recommendations on what amount? No recommendation? If there's no recommendation, the requested amount is moved along with the scoring.
Sorry.
Yes. Have to do my math.
Next up is Opportunity Enterprises. The requested amount was $2,500,000. Do we have a recommended amount? I'll recommend $1 million.
Is that a motion?
That's
Like you want a second to it, or?
No,
I was-
I don't think we
we
need to
don't
make an
need to
emotion,
do it.
unless somebody can make a case where now we have a debate whether it's 1 million or 1,000,005 or 500,000, then we need a motion.
Well, I was just thinking that, of 1.5 million, because that's part one of what they're asking for, which I thought was more directly relating to the COVID harm and the sustainability issue.
Okay, I'll agree with that, 1.5. 1.5 good with everyone?
I can't argue with it, so yeah.
Okay, 1.5 is the recommended amount. Next up is the MAC. Requested amount is $3,300,000. We have a recommended amount. I'll recommend 1.5 million.
I could go along with that.
Everybody comfortable with that? You can keep in mind, folks, that we had a total of $54 to $55 million worth of requests and roughly $29 million to give out. So anybody, any application walking away with $1 million could count themselves very, very fortunate. Any application. There you go. Hilltop Neighborhood House, 400,000. The only thing I remember about this presentation, it was strong. It was a strong presentation. Do we have a recommended amount?
I recommend the full amount.
Any objection or suggestion?
I'll go along with that.
Okay. We recommend the full amount of 400,000 to Hilltop Neighborhood House. Next up is Kids Funds Corporation at $24,000. We have a recommendation for an amount. I'll recommend the full amount requested at $24,000. That was a strong presentation as well, if you remember.
And that just gives them their exact amount that they lost
Right.
from the two fundraisers they
Right.
couldn't have.
There you go. Nana Claire's Kitchen, $10,000. Any recommended amount?
I'd recommend the full amount.
Yeah, so do I.
Okay, I agree with that. Rebecca? It's unanimous? We recommend the amount of $10,000 to Nana Claire's Kitchen. Next up, Valparaiso YMCA, $950, or $950,000.
A few more.
Wishful thinking.
The next one, Ron?
I believe this is one of the presentations that I did not personally see. What do y'all think? But I did read their handout. Any recommended amount? We do not make a recommendation, the 950 moves along with the application.
You're moving faster than I am. You're moving fast. Hold on. I know I have the Y in here.
So this is the problem with bringing all the paper with me?
Take your time, we're moving through this pretty quick, so just take your
Oh,
time.
it's impressive.
I'd rather be right than early, so.
My apologies. I I bet it's the last one I'm gonna look at.
Apologize, just take your time. It's all right.
Oh, yeah, this is the one I actually had to watch online. And I think I had a question on it, so. Let's see what's that.
Well, I think they're asking this amount, 950,000, they're asking for the full amount. And I don't know, I don't have in my notes that they have any other funding
Thank you, that was
for this.
my question on that one.
And so,
We have anybody from the Y here? Okay.
Okay, then.
Do we have a recommendation?
I think they did say that if they didn't get the full amount, they'd have to scale back the project, if I remember right. They'd have to redo the engineering and scale back.
I don't remember that. I remember that from the Liberty Township Fire Department, because I asked that question, but I don't remember what they said on this.
I had rewatched the video of it too, and I had a question about that. Okay. I guess I'll go with that, the why.
Last chance, any recommendation? All right, we'll move along with the 950 requested, no suggestion on amount. Next up, Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Northwest Indiana. Requested amount is $4 million. Any requested, any recommendation on amount?
No, it's a big request. They did receive 150,000 from Valpo City. I don't know what amount to suggest, but I would suggest something less,
Less than the amount?
less than the 4 million they're asking for.
I'll recommend the amount of $1 million.
I was aiming for half, but I did do a virtual tour of the building they're putting together and what they're working on, and who they're serving. It is such a wide community, and it's only $60 an entire year for a child. And so looking at it so the cost versus benefit, I would be more comfortable with the 2 million, but that's my only argument.
We'll split
for
the
that.
difference, go 1.5 million?
That's just what I'm
Sure.
All right, we'll go with 1.5 million. Neighbors Educational Opportunities. The request is for $1,106,794.
Real quick, I'm missing
Yes.
one of yours, because this one doesn't have a name.
Uh-oh.
So I'm missing one of yours too.
Which one is it?
This
The
is-
Phoenix? Is it in purple?
I have no purple.
That's,
Okay.
it's me.
That would be for Boys and Girls Club, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have three.
I recommend the
tier
full
process
amount for
here.
Neo.
Thank you.
Yeah, I do what I can, you know?
Thank you.
The recommended amount is $1,106,794. I'll also recommend the full amount.
I would go along with that. They already did reduce their request by about 400,000, so.
Vicki, we're recommending the full amount
Okay.
for NEO, for Neighbors Educational Opportunities.
Which was reduced from their.
Yes, and they made a very strong presentation. Very strong case.
Did you get my Boys and Girls Club one?
Here. Porter County Project Kids, $15,000.
This is the one that's a little bit problematic as to they weren't in existence before COVID, so we're really harmed.
Was this the one with the lady and her son?
Yes. The one where they put the pads down,
Yeah.
the sensory pads down in the elementary schools.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
were created like in response.
Yeah,
To
as a
it.
response. I'm just not sure, even though she says it could fit the category of assistance to households, because of when it was formed and how it's doing. They can't say they were harmed by COVID because they weren't even in existence at the time COVID hit. This was just a response. It's a nice response, but I'm not sure that they meet the rule.
Well, here's my, I thought the lady was very nice.
Yes.
And I think she's trying to do well, but I think that there's a lot missing in her organization if we're gonna turn over public dollars to her to be accountable for. And
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable with doing that.
I think it would be hard to report to the Treasury Department and
Yes.
do it, what
Yes.
it needs to be done.
I was hoping my ranking would reflect that.
Yeah, I'm just apprehensive about handing over an organization's being ran out of somebody's home, so.
Not just that, again, it's a very new organization, how can we guarantee it's sustainable? And so that's basically how my ranking.
Great point.
All right, there's that. So are we going to make a money recommendation or not?
No.
Okay.
I think can somebody just move at this point that
We could recommend a
Recommend
zero
against it.
dollar.
Okay.
Is that a
Did you
motion?
say that that people?
That we recommend it not be funded?
You could do that. Some subcommittees did do that. I do want to mention that this one, if you were to score it, it would have to be explained that it could be moved into a different category, not the aid to nonprofits based on economic harm, which is what this committee focused on. But because they don't comply with that, they could comply under a different area if you wanted to advance it.
No, I want to advance, but I don't want to advance it to another committee, because that committee did not.
Basically, that's how it would be considered. Even though the other committees are done, we would move it.
Just score it accordingly.
Okay.
Score it accordingly. I'm sure the steering committee will get the gist of it. Shirley Hines Land Trust, $617,500. I remember they had a strong presentation. I'm going to recommend the full amount of $617,500 unless somebody opposes it or shows good reason why we shouldn't. All right. Vicki, we're recommending the full amount.
Okay.
All righty. Well, that's the end of our scoring. Any public comment? Nothing? Yes, sir.
I'm Craig Nordstrom, Beverly Shores. I am the chair of Chicago Street Theater.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
became chair 3 months after COVID hit, and it's been a struggle for the last 2 years. It really has.
I can imagine.
Like you say, it's a volunteer organization. We do fundraising. I've been in the last 2 plays, and so I want to just express gratitude.
You're welcome. Thank you. Any other comments? Well, thank you for those of you who have showed up just, nearly every meeting. It's been like watching paint dry, I'm sure, at times, but I'm proud of the work that we've done up here, proud of the board members that have cared enough to show up and put their time in. Any comments by the board itself? No? Well, thank you all very much. Thank you 100 times, and thanks 100 times to Vicki and Kurt. They're not getting paid any extra.
And Deb.
And Deb. And Dave too. Dave is Dave is, every now and again, Dave will pop up and say something that makes a lot of sense, so. Recess.
The score.
She has to do the
Cheers.
second. I thought she was gonna, they're gonna total the scores and put them up.
Okay, well, they're gonna total the scores, folks, if you wanna hear them.
Sure. Great, they get to judge my math.
As long as there's a number on the bottom, you're fine.
Yeah,
The rest of your
I
math
have
is-
numbers all on the sides. I'm hoping it matches at the bottom.
They're
There's a
not-
reason I
they're
do a
not
lot of
checking
work on
that.
computers, okay? Equals sum, you know, Excel has that for me. Isn't that terrible? I can do great complex Excel spreadsheet equations, but simple addition, I'm breaking my fingers out.
Okay, we reconcile.
It's like my engineering buddy, it took him 6 months to realize there was plastic on his whiteboard and couldn't figure out why it didn't work.
So,
Here we go, folks.
That was quick.
so there's more here. I'll try to minimize the font so you can see it all. This worked on the other committees where they had like half as many. I don't know if that helps. Does that help?
Yeah, I think we're all in this one too.
Oh, dear. Okay, so those are the. That didn't help. Let me try to move it in. Actually, we don't need these. Let me hide those. So, oh, yeah, that's it. So those are the scores as they were scored, and then I just ranked them. And, oh.
Is there a way to rank those?
Yeah, I got them on the other side, it just got to move on over.
Okay.
I'll try to minimize this. Size. As you can see. This computer is. Pardon me? Mine did the same. Well, it's because it talks to the bigger screens. It's really big. So I'll just make this. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to move it over so you can see them scored. There we go.
Nice.
Okay. So that's it. Those are the ones as they were scored.
Can everybody see that?
I could read them off if you want.
I don't think that's, I think everybody can see. Now, you look at this list, folks, and you see why this is a tough job for the steering committee, for the commissioners and the council. Most of these scores are close together. They're just a few numbers off from each other. And that's why I've said that if you walk away with $1 million here, count yourself lucky. There's $29 million, and we originally had $54 million worth of requests. So, but if you go, just this committee's recommendation, if other committees have followed this same pattern, which I think they have, we could pretty much fund, we're gonna come really close to funding what we'd like to fund with the recommended amounts. At least the top 50%.
Commissioner Goods, what's the total of these projects here tonight?
Good question.
Right here.
14 million?
Yeah, 14.3.
But you gotta remember, this committee reviewed the most applications. Far and away had the most applications to review, so. So to say that this committee, so 14 million of 29 million is what percentile?
That's
Nearly
around
half. Yeah. So. But not, you have to remember, not all of these, especially in the bottom, the bottom third of this is not gonna be funded at all. I would be shocked if any of it's funded. So, we'll see.
So what is the next step now?
The next step is the scores, the information that we provided in the way of funding goes to the steering committee. The steering committee then ranks, they will create their own ranking, an own recommendation. Some of our recommendations will follow that, they'll follow along with it. Some I'm sure they may disagree with. That is sent off to the Board of Commissioners, and the Board of Commissioners and the County Council will have the final say. I would assume it'll go to the Board of Commissioners first and then to the Council, and I would assume, I could be assuming a lot, but I would assume that the Council will, because they're now getting information from the committee, from the individual boards, the steering committee, and the Board of Commissioners as to what they need to approve. And I would think that at that point, there's not going to be much argument, because the commissioners will not move anything along. And I wouldn't think that the steering committee will either, that they're not going to move anything along that we can't afford to fund, the list of projects. So it's just a question of what debate may or may not occur on the Board of Commissioners, is to add something, either in something that didn't make the list, or take away the amount on a project and add it to another project. I don't think there's going to be much discussion like that. I mean, not for me. Simply because I know of the struggle it's going to be for the steering committee to get this, packaged up and sent off to the Board of Commissioners and the County Council to where it makes sense. Mm-hmm. And for somebody to go in and wreck it after that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It's going to be different. There's going to be winners and losers here, whether we like it or not. But nobody can complain about the process. I mean, Kurt, what was the last count of how many hours of meetings that we've had, and how many meetings?
I think this is meeting 23,
This is
and
the
we're probably
23rd.
at about 45 hours of meeting time.
Yeah. So we've tried to, we've certainly tried to vet this as well as we can. It's not, no process would have been perfect, but I think that we've come a long way of making sure that we touch at least the worst of the worst. The most important things in our community, the things that make up our community. And I think that's what we'll all be able to say at the end of the day, that we've done that. So, any comments? Well, y'all have a wonderful Monday night.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome, thank you.
I will not see you next Monday.